What is going on, guys? Horizon here, and today we are taking a deep dive into the final match played between Faze and G2 at the RLCS World Championships from the perspective of Sypical. But before we do jump into that, I have a very important and special announcement for you guys. In precisely 9 days from today, I will be getting married, so I have a little proposition for you. My fiance has stated that if we can reach 400 subscribers by my wedding day on September 24th, then she will participate in a video where she will actually play Rocket League with me. She's basically never played Rocket League before, so should be a pretty interesting time. So if you guys could, I would really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button to help us reach that goal. That would be awesome. Now, without any further ado, let's hop right on into this from the perspective of Sypical, and off we go. And right out the gate, I have a big question with this touch from Sypical right here. So the ball pinches off to the side. It's rolling fairly slowly. Now, a lot of players have this idea that, okay, let's just hit this ball up the wall and let's follow it up. The problem with that idea here is Atomic sitting right there. So I would have liked to see Sypical take his time a little bit more with this ball, maybe force out a 50 with either JNaps or Chicago, at least give Faze a chance to maintain possession, but instead he just smacks the ball away, loses out on boost, and Atomic takes control. Luckily, Firstkiller does a pretty good job on defense. Lovely pressure there from Sypical as well, just to make sure G2 doesn't have a free touch, even on low boost. A little bit of awkward positioning here, but we get ourselves sorted out, so not too many problems. Like this touch here, just trying to keep the ball light. He sees the entire team of G2 is just right in front of him. So any touch forward is just a giveaway of possession, especially since Ayyjayy is retreating back. So by just lightly dumping this off to the side, it gives his team a chance to maintain possession. Unfortunately, Firstkiller only gets there at the same time as Atomic and doesn't beat him, but I love the idea from Sypical there to try to help Faze maintain control. Unsure exactly what he's jumping at here. In this play, it seems pretty obvious that someone's going to get a touch on this ball. It seems like he's reading that both players are missing, but then Ayyjayy gets a touch, so he jumps, probably expecting that no one was going to touch it, and now the ball is not where he thought it was going to be. And if we look at this situation, like, no one's around. So I don't know why he's jumping so quickly at this ball. He has a couple of seconds. Atomic is on their own half, and Chicago's off to the side of the screen right now, pretty far away. So Sypical has a bit of time here, and he could have been a bit more patient with this ball and gained a bit more control of it before just jumping at it as such. Rotating back, good cutoff in the midfield, trying to make things a little awkward for G2. See how we handle this on the backboard. Oh boy. Yeah, this is just an awkward calm situation with Firstkiller, because you see Sypical and Ayyjayy both go up to the backboard, and Sypical calls backboard so Ayyjayy drops. That's fine. The problem with where this ball goes is it's behind Sypical. It would seem to me that Firstkiller has the better angle to go for this ball on the ground, but Sypical is also closer to the ball being already in the air, so they didn't have a whole lot of time to communicate who was going to go for this ball, and it just kind of resulted in this awkward double commit. And realistically, we just have to make sure that even in these awkward situations, we calm who's going for it as fast as possible, and one of these guys needs to stay where they are. Either Firstkiller needs to stay on the ground, or Sypical needs to stay on the backboard. Ideally, I think you send Sypical just to make this challenge, and then you still have two people prepared to defend, and one of the guys who's sitting in net can then rotate up to the backboard to replace Sypical after he's left. But by sending both players, you leave Ayyjayy in a real tough spot, and he's kind of crept forward a little bit. He's not in the back of the net. So really you can say to Ayyjayy, like, Ayyjayy should have been a little further back, and then this is a pretty easy save, but he gets caught a little too far forward in net, gets an awkward touch, and results in a goal from Atomic. But realistically, that entire situation comes down to the communication between Firstkiller and Sypical. Oh well, 1-0. Plenty of time left. On we go. From the boost, yes sir. Playing patient, waiting to see what happens. This is fine. I think a little more patience on the backboard here would be really beneficial, because Chicago's not in a position that he can really do a whole lot of threatening stuff with this ball. Any touch from Chicago is going to go across the backboard or across the front of the net somehow. So if we just wait for him to make this last touch, then we can take over after he's lost control. But the fact that we dive in for this, there's very little chance that we're going to make a touch on this ball, seeing as how Chicago still has active control when we go. If we waited just a few more seconds for Chicago to make that touch, and then challenged right after he landed, that would have been a more beneficial time to make the challenge, and would have pretty much guaranteed that we won that ball. But we went a little bit earlier than we probably should have, and it just resulted in Chicago being able to maintain control. Luckily he misses, and Ayyjayy does get the touch out. And a lovely touch upfield to spring Ayyjayy on the counter attack. It's fine, rotating around, coming in for this. I like the attempt of the control touch. Out we go, all the way back downfield, snagging some boost. Rotating around. Again? Okay. So again, this is pretty much the exact same position we were in with Chicago. Atomic, he is controlling the ball onto the backboard. The only place this ball is going is high up on the backboard. It's going high over the net. It's not coming across it based on the angle that Atomic's catching it at. So if Sypical just stays close, drives with him, he's got plenty of boosters, drives with Atomic as this ball comes across the back wall. Number one, it makes Atomic extremely awkward because there's just a Faze player sitting right next to him the entire time he's trying to figure out what he wants to do with the ball. And number two, it allows Sypical to go in for a challenge when it becomes optimal for him to do so. By diving in the corner here, he misses the ball and Atomic has full control. If he had faked this challenge and is now driving up the wall with boost behind Atomic, he's got this play covered. But because he's let Atomic go basically for free, this is a free pass down. Ayyjay's low boost in net because he's just rotated back, and JNAP slots in bottom corner. So again, more patience in the corners on the backboard would be beneficial from Sypical. Recognize where there's no threat, and don't challenge something that you don't need to. Gonna attempt at a challenge, no worries. Grabbing some boost like that. I like this play a lot. He's taking advantage of the fact that he's staying upfield. He landed upfield after this challenge, and he recognized pretty quickly that no one on G2 was gonna have a touch, so he knew the next touch was coming from Ayyjayy. So by staying upfield, it allows Ayyjayy to pass this ball up to him. Unfortunately, it gets cut out by JNAPs, but that's okay, because where JNAPs put it right into the path of Sypical. And now this is just a really tough read. The ball is bouncing down. Is it right against the wall? Is it bouncing down next to the wall? He goes for it. Unfortunately, misses out, but results in a pretty good goal-scoring chance by the fact that he just lingered upfield after going for that initial challenge. Firstkiller wants to go for some kind of pass here. He wants to put the ball towards Sypical, as we can see by the angle he's taking. Now, based on where G2's positioned, if you want to get this pass over to Sypical, the easiest way to do so is just to snap this ball across this gap and fire it over to him. Firstkiller instead goes for like a pass disguised as a solo play. So what happens is he takes this ball into an air dribble, and G2 is just looking at how slow he's moving up across the field, and they're able to go up to challenge him. If Firstkiller snapped this ball over to Sypical, it would force the entire G2 defense to move from one side of the field to the other, and when defenses shift sides, it gives the player now with the ball a whole lot of space. By Firstkiller snapping the ball across, it would have given Sypical a lot of space to operate with, but instead Firstkiller goes for the air dribble, and it just immediately gets broken up by the G2 defense. Faze is probably lucky they don't give up a goal here, in all honesty. Rotating back. Good defense from Firstkiller here. Good pop from Ayyjayy. Go up and get this challenge. Good. See how we land. 27 boost. We have enough. Okay. So right here, if we look at the positioning of everybody, Firstkiller, we don't know where he's popping this ball. Sypical might be calling for him to put it to the left, from Sypical's perspective, which might be why he does this. It's unfortunate that either Firstkiller gets this mistouch or this is a miscomm. Not sure which one it is. But Firstkiller definitely needs to put this ball to a place where Sypical can play with it. So if Sypical is calling for Firstkiller to send it to the right side of the field, it's really important that Firstkiller gets it there because it allows Faze to break out of their defensive half. And if this wasn't a miscomm and Firstkiller told Sypical where he was going to touch it, then Sypical definitely should not be turning this way. So either Sypical is turning in the wrong direction for Firstkiller's touch, or Firstkiller isn't touching the ball to the right spot. Either way, it results in this touch just being a complete giveaway of possession, and Jnaps just looks at this and goes, cool, thanks, and they're able to keep Faze locked in their own half. Poor execution on that clear from Faze for sure. And again, wait, let me see how this, does this result in a goal? No, barely. So right here, Firstkiller gets his touch, coming over to the side, this is fine. Sypical recognize you have space, yes. But now here's the thing, he's got 76 boost. You know you have, like, at least two G2 players in front of you. Going for a flick here, unless you're able to maintain perfect control of the ball, is going to just give the ball away entirely. We need to go for a play that is either A, going to get the ball all the way into G2's half, or B, is going to make the ball slow down and buy a ton of time for our team to organize themselves. So catching this ball is fine, if you're going to go for like some kind of low controlled 50 or something like that where the ball is going to stay slow and stay close so you can continue to buy time for your teammates. If you're not going to catch this ball, you either need to pop it up into an air dribble and try to get over Jnaps, or you just need to boom this ball downfield and buy your team some time. Instead, we go for this dribble, and our flick takes the ball around Jnaps, sure, but Atomic's just sitting right there and goes, okay, thank you, I'll take that. And because we bought so little time for our team, this ball almost just bounces right into the goal. We're, again, very fortunate that Atomic didn't score that. Because in all honesty, it should have been in our net. Jstn rotating back. This is extremely dangerous positioning. So we got Firstkiller landing. Sypical is now not in net. So Ayyjayy, how much boost does Ayyjayy have? 0. Okay, so Ayyjayy's got 0 boost. So Firstkiller and Sypical are now both sitting slightly upfield, with Ayyjayy on 0 boost, and Atomic coming in for a challenge. Now luckily, Ayyjayy is able to fake the fact that he has boost, and Atomic bites on it. If Ayyjayy doesn't successfully fake Atomic, and Atomic just comes in for this challenge, your net is totally undefended. So if Atomic gets a good challenge, this ball is just in your net. Or very dangerous at the very least, because now you have to turn around and get back to net before you can defend it. I would like to see Sypical be positioned a little more defensively here, because this is really dangerous. I get it, you're down 2, there's only a minute left, but you still have plenty of time. It's not panic mode, you don't need to rush up the field, especially because Ayyjayy has 0 boost. You ain't really rushing anywhere. So just positioning a little more defensively, just to make sure that things aren't going to go horribly wrong, would be extremely beneficial. Luckily, Ayyjayy gets the great fake, and Sypical is able to work the ball down the field. So all good. All is well that ends well. Like the pass, good attempt, get the challenge. Ayyjayy turns, stay on the ball, nice. Beautiful shot attempt, just a better save from Chicago. Beautiful pass from Ayyjayy, dropped down perfectly to Sypical, and this is just one of those situations where good offense is beaten by better defense. Good shot, good placement. Maybe it could have been a little bit further to the top corner, but I mean, that's about as close as you're gonna get, and Chicago's probably gonna save pretty much anything unless the shot goes to the left, but with the challenge coming in from the other G2 player, not like Sypical could have placed the ball there. Anyway, it's a great save by Chicago. Gets G2 out of a little jam. Sypical gonna rush back, all the way back to defense. I love the patience of this entire play. This is the kind of stuff we like to see, recognizing that yes, time is running down, yes, we need to score, but we also need to make smart plays. We can't just go into full-scale panic mode and throw the ball away and make stupid mistakes. Sypical recognizes that he has space. He sees Atomic turning around, so what does he do? He fakes the flip reset and just comes back to the ground. Makes Atomic jump. Atomic gets an awkward touch because of how slow the ball is moving. Sypical is able to take back over to control. And now both Atomic and Chicago are backwards to him. One flick makes them both jump. Really nice play from Sypical just to put the defense in an awkward situation where they really have to think about how to defend this play. And it results in a really advantageous situation for Faze. Unfortunately, Ayyjayy just can't slot it. Now here, we got a little bit of hesitation from Sypical. So, great play, he grabs his boost, turns. As soon as he sees this, he needs to be turning, boosting towards this ball. This is an open upper left corner. But he waits just a little bit too long before going for it, and it results in the G2 defense getting across, and him not being able to get an angle on the shot. If he turns a little bit faster, like now, turns immediately, and recognizes it, this is a goal. But he hesitates and then slows down just a little bit, and it allows the G2 defense to get across. Unfortunate, really nice attempt, good attempt to keep it in. But now, at this point, this is just pretty much full scale, get the ball downfield as fast as possible. We're going to challenge everything as we see Sypical diving for some stuff. And the clock's going to run down here, and there's not going to be a whole lot that Faze is going to be able to do. He's trying to rush the ball downfield, again getting challenged off, and Ayyjayy own goals, and that will pretty much do it. Faze has always been a team that likes to go for solo plays. They don't tend to utilize their teammates as often as some other teams, but we have seen them do it, and when they do it, it looks really, really good. But in this match especially, there just wasn't a whole lot of usage of the teammates. It was a lot of, let me go solo. There were some passes, and some resulted in pretty good scoring chances, but just didn't work out for them on this occasion. And secondly, I'd just like to see more patience from Faze on the back wall and in their own corners. A lot of times, G2 would have had control of the ball in the corner, and there really wasn't a whole lot of threat. As long as the Faze player stayed close, there wasn't really going to be anything coming from it. But they dove in for a challenge in the corner, where it's super easy for the attacking player to get the ball around you just because of how many angles they can play. And it would take them out of the play, and it would allow G2 to maintain control of the ball on Faze's own backboard. And you don't want the other team to have control of the ball on your backboard if you don't have a player right next to them ready to defend it. So a little bit more patience in the corner and on the backboard would have yielded a bit more of defensive stability for Faze in this matchup. But unfortunately, some challenges were made in the corners, cost Faze some goals, things happen. So thank you everybody so much for watching, as I greatly appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications. If you guys have any video ideas, suggestions, anything like that, go ahead and throw those down in the comments below. As always, I look forward to checking those out. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. See you later, guys.